take you to Polokwane, where the Deputy President Paul Mashatile will give the keynote address at the official Youth Day commemorative event. The country marks 48 years since the June 16 Soweto uprising in 1976. Thousands of students protested against the use of the Afrikaans language as a medium of instruction in schools. Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala is joining us now live from the Peter Mokaba Stadium in Polokwane. Nqobile, it's over to you.
But yes, Aldrin, we are now seeing quite more people. It's getting busier. We can see more people coming in, and already we know that there's an expectation of quite a number of people to come and hear what the deputy is saying. But far beyond that, for young people to get an opportunity and to understand how can they make money in their way, and making sure that they can also get some funding, which is why you will see so many tents that are providing information to those young people. But I want to bring in now the Director General to speak to us about the sort of implementations that you have for young people, especially the day today that we are celebrating, which is the 1976 youth that took a stand. What does this day mean to you, and what are you saying to the youth?
This day is very important because it means that young persons can lead, young persons can transform, young persons can change. So we are not taking June 16 light, but also we are not taking the youth of today light. Hence, we are trying to work with the youth to ensure that the youth of today benefit from democracy.
What kind of benefits are we talking about? Because I understand at this point, one of the major issues that is faced by the youth is the unemployment.
Unemployment is a huge thing. I think it's because of how we have arranged our things. We have promoted employment and didn't promote self-employment. Young persons need to come up with projects or whatever that they can start their own business and employ other people. Maybe also it's because of how we have structured our education system. So that's why the Department of Education is restructuring in order to ensure that vocational training becomes important. When you look at countries like Germany, they are developed countries, but it's because of vocational training where young persons could be artisans, could be whatever, and employ themselves, but also it helps the country in order to maintain the infrastructure and all those things. So we are re-looking at the way we used to do things in order to ensure that young persons are self-employed.
And I know that the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability is looking also in sport. What are you saying to the young people that they can do in terms of sport and also to improve their lives?
Sport is important for your life, for your health, but also as a way of business. When you look at countries, some countries, people are very rich because of sports. It's because sports is it's introduced or inculcated from primary school. So this year, with our concept document, we are looking at from 2024 to 2034 as a decade of sports, to encourage every community, every municipality to develop a certain sports so that young persons can be involved. We are also joined by correctional services. The Commissioner for Correctional Services is here because in prison, and I'm not promoting prisons, but I'm just promoting what they are doing in order to rehabilitate people, that they involve them in sports. So they also want to ensure that the communities in that area, they will be developed in order to be involved in sports. Sports is critical.
Thank you very much, Director General, for speaking to us. And I want to bring in the young people, Aldrin, because as we speak about sports and how sports can be used and be instrumental in ensuring that young people's lives can change, as a young person that is in Limpopo, that leads the young people, tell us what you think can be done for the young people in this province.
Young people in the province and the country in general are crying of unemployment. They are skilled, they went to school. Now, the president is making a commitment that he has heard our calls that they must create jobs. But what we want to say today, or perhaps what we hope the president will do today is to make a commitment that mineral resources which are produced out of our land will no longer be exported to other countries to create jobs in other countries. Mineral resources that are produced in this province must all of them be processed in the province so that they create jobs for young people. ZZ2 should stop exporting, like any other farmers should stop exporting whatever they produce out of our soil, because when they export them, for example, to the US, it means when they arrive there, where they are processed, they create jobs. Now we are saying the government must stop with EPWPs. We have had enough of EPWPs. Young people want real jobs. Young people want to afford the standard of living. The standard of living is getting more and more expensive, and young people are getting tired of promises year in, year out. But of course, as leaders of young people, we are saying that this date did not only agitate students in 1976, but beyond that, it agitated the youth in the country in those dates to fight for economic freedom in our lifetime. And it will be wrong that today, 30 years after democracy, we are still unable to realize the creation of jobs. We are still unable to realize the economic freedom that which our people were promised.
And do you feel at this point that anything you say will be heard today?
There are many things that we have said that we want to have an understanding that they were heard. The young people in the country have spoken of many things. There's an improvement here and there in terms of education. There's an improvement here and there in service, in providing services. And we also have hope that today's government, at least we are seeing young people in government. But what we would actually wish that it be heard from the call that is being made by young people is that elders must go to pension and leave young people with their space in government, so that they are, because it's only young people who understand the pains that young people are going through. Old people, when they see young people at spaza shops of Makuling, they think young people are there smoking drugs. Young people are in these corners because they have nothing to do in this country. They are not given proper responsibilities. And Sankara has also spoken about young people or a generation and soldiers who are not properly given responsibility. They are. That is why we are not making an excuse for crime, but that is why we have a higher crime rate, because these are young people who are staying at home and they are not doing anything. But in their quest for survival, they end up doing the wrong things. And that is why we are saying that these young people, we know they are skilled, they are equipped. Go to any streets, find all young people, they are qualified, all of them. We are graduating young people in universities year in, year out. You still have a challenge of young doctors who are not employed. You still have challenges of young teachers who are not employed. We are speaking of serious professionals here. Yet hospitals are empty, they don't have doctors. Learners in high schools do not have proper teachers. And we are saying that government must prioritize creation of jobs. And by creation of jobs, we are saying it's not a call for EPWPs. Because today when people go to strategic plannings, they spend days and months in expensive lodges planning to give young people EPWPs and not give them the proper jobs.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. Well, Aldrin, you heard it from a young person who is a representative of young people in this province. He's saying that they want jobs and they want creation of jobs. We have heard, of course, from the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability that they're also looking into adding sport as a way of creating jobs. But I think today, as a celebration to that, or a commemoration of that 1976 youth, they're saying that you need to unlock jobs so that youth can be able to make their own money and they don't have to be involved in things like crime.
Nqobile, is it clear as yet what time the Deputy President is expected to speak?
Well, at this point, we know that the event is supposed to start at about 11 o'clock. We haven't been told that it's being delayed at this point, but we know that the briefing is also continuing in the background where the leaders are meeting not far from where we are. We understand that at this point, the people that have arrived, the deputy ministers that we're expecting to be part of that walk, that was 5-kilometer walk, but we understand that the deputy president is expected to start speaking just after 12, which would be the keynote speaker. But of course, as you can see behind me, more people are now starting to come in. So there's a little bit more activities that are taking place. People just engaging with some of those leaders and those information desks that are set up here to ensure that the youth can get that sort of opportunity that they're looking for. But we haven't been alerted yet whether the deputy has arrived, but we are told that at about 12 to 12:30 is the time that they're expected to speak.
Nqobile Madlala joining us from the Peter Mokaba Stadium in Limpopo. And from